Hi there, Nicholas here from Marketing Lab, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can get away from paying top dollar on Google Ads to try and generate high value traffic to your website and use another strategy to generate that traffic for free. Now, a lot of businesses, especially in the B2B and industrial space, utilize Google Pay per click as the one marketing service that they render and spend money on each month to generate leads and sales for their business. But as you know, in most markets, Google AdWords is the preferred marketing tool. So it is very competitive for businesses. It's very saturated. There are a lot of businesses fighting for those top spots, and therefore that drives the cost per click up. And in doing so, that means your budget isn't going as far as you'd like it to. So if you've seen there's been a decline in your Google AdWords campaign in terms of the leads and conversions it's been producing for your business, it could be attributed to competition coming in there, saturating the marketplace, driving up click costs, competition having bigger budgets that you can't really compete with. Then this is going to be a very lucrative strategy that you should use within your business. And today I'm going to show you step by step how to do it, and you can follow this video along and produce the exact same results we have for some of our clients, where we've been able to generate thousands and thousands of visitors for their business each month completely free. And that's the SEO strategy that I'm going to show you today. So first of all, I want to show you how competitive, let's say, the laser cutting machine market is. Laser cutting machine has seen a spike in trend over the last few years, and more businesses here in Australia are stocking these machines. Either they're manufacturing them themselves or they're importing them from overseas, and they're on-selling them to consumers. And as you can see, if I type in the keyword laser cutting machine into Google, we're going to have a look at the paid listings and how saturated they are. And then I'm going to show you how expensive it is to actually list your business on Google Ads for the paid service, rendering the keyword laser cutting machine. So as you can see, this is the Google Shopping Network, and it's completely saturated. You can see all spots are filled. And if I was to click in more on Google and open this as a new tab, the sponsored is completely saturated here. If I just remove my SEO tool, okay, it's not going to remove itself there. But if I just slide across, you can see how many businesses are, utilizing Google Shopping as one of their marketing channels to try and generate traffic to their website. Now, if we go down the page a bit further, we have a look at the top 3 spots, which are occupied by paid listings again. Prytech, DHMT and Performer Tech are the top 3 spots, and Google states that these top 3 spots receive about 60% of the traffic that is searched for that particular keyword. So if you're not occupying those top spots and paying top dollar to be listed there, then I can guarantee that if you're running a paid campaign and you're on page like 2 or at the bottom of page 1 or any page that is further down the listing, that you're not going to be getting a lot of that traffic. So what can we do here to try and mitigate this as an issue for you if you don't have the budget to spend? That's exactly what I'm going to show you in the next few minutes. Now, just before I do so, I just want to give you a clear understanding of how much it probably costs to occupy these top spots. So if I go to Google Keyword Planner here, type in the keyword laser cutting machine, you can see at the top listing for that keyword is $5.57. Now, obviously, if you run a Google AdWords campaign, you're not just going to have one keyword listed within that campaign. You're going to have multiple keywords that are relative around the product or service that you render. And if you just go through some of these figures around the most relative keywords around laser cutting machine, the top page bid jumps to $12, $17, $13, $10. So if you're running a Google Ads campaign, you've got $2,000 per month to spend, and the average cost per click to get on those top listings that receive about 60% of the traffic is around about the $8 mark, then you're only getting 250 people to your website each and every month. Now, for you, that might be enough. Great, if that works for you, but I can guarantee you with a conversion rate of about 2%, if we do that calculation here, 0.02, you're only getting about 5 leads per month. Now, I can guarantee you that your strike rate isn't going to be 100%, so you won't be closing those 5 leads into sales each month. So, the $2,000 investment you're making to send only 300 to 400 visitors to your website each month, and then only generating, say 5 to 8 leads per month, is that going to be sustainable for your business over 6 to 12 months? Probably not. So what can you do to get around this major issue we're seeing with a lot of small to medium-sized businesses that are using Google Ads as their main marketing channel? Well, it's going after these keywords through SEO and being able to spot keyword opportunities that have low competition so that you can take full advantage of it and start to generate the traffic that's worth about $10 per click on Google Ads to your website for free. So the first thing we do to spot these keywords is use a tool like Ubersuggest. Ubersuggest is a keyword research tool that we deploy here at Marketing Lab. There's many keyword research tools in the market like Ahrefs. You can obviously use Google Keyword Planner as well. But to get a comprehensive understanding of the SEO difficulty associated per keyword, Ubersuggest is one of the best tools that I recommend. And you can use one of the free subscriptions to do what I'm doing here. But you'll probably realize after you do this exercise, you'll want to pay for the subscription for Ubersuggest because you'll be doing this on an ongoing basis. So as you can see, I've already preloaded the research tool with the keyword laser cutting machine, and it's giving me a list of the most relative keyword, which is just a mirror of that keyword, but also keyword idea suggestions that are relative around that keyword phrase. Now, what we want to do is go through this list and identify what are the keywords that are most relative, but what are some high buying intent keywords that I can go after. And the reason we try and separate just general research type keywords to high buyer intent keywords is that customer or potential customer is further down the track in their buying cycle. So that means they're more likely to take action at a sooner date, as opposed to someone who's trying to get an understanding of what a laser cutting machine is. So to do that, what we do when we're looking at keywords, we try and establish, are they adding additional keywords to the phrase to describe what they're looking for? And in doing so, that tells us as marketers that they are more educated around the product or service that they're looking for, and therefore they're probably a bit later in the buying cycle. They're just trying to understand which solution is best before they make a purchasing decision. So if we're to go through this list, the laser cutting machine keyword obviously is the most relevant. So we can have a look at the volume. 2,900 people per month search for that keyword. The cost per click is about $4.12. That's probably the average. The paid difficulty is 100. So what that tells you is if you're a new business trying to advertise for the keyword laser cutting machine, the competition is so fierce that you're probably going to be spending nearly double the average cost per click to be able to see any results with that keyword term. But what you can see here on the right-hand side is the SD column, which is SEO difficulty. And that is at a labeled as 3. So that means out of 100, the SEO difficulty for that keyword is 3, which tells us that there's a lot of businesses running ads for that keyword, but not many businesses that have blog articles or content surrounding that keyword that is helpful to the user, being someone who's trying to look for a laser cutting machine. And that to us is a very good keyword opportunity to go after with organic content. So if you do that process and you go through and you just have a look at the other keywords that are relative, that have high buying intent, like laser cutting machine CNC, laser cutting machine metal, laser cutting machine for aluminium, laser cutting machine for sheet metal, laser cutting machine wood, laser cutting machine cost, you can then go and evaluate those keywords and see, what the SEO difficulty is. Anything over a 60 is quite hard to break into, so I'd probably stay away from those keywords. Anything under a 50, that means all you'd have to do is create a few articles surrounding that keyword, and you would start to rank quite quickly on Google's search engine as an organic listing, where you're positioned right next to paid listings who are paying upwards of $10 per click for that traffic. You'd be getting it for free. So as you can see from these 4 or 5 terms that I've identified being high buyer intent, low SEO difficulty keywords, we can see that these are all the keywords we can go after. So what I would usually do is add these keywords to a list, create a new list. So laser cutting machine, high buyer intent, low SD keywords. And I would add those. And they go into my keyword list where I can track those keywords on a regular basis. Now, so if I just go here, sorry, I can see those keywords all listed out for me, and I can see what the SEO difficulty changes to over time. You might put your resources and time into the top 3, or maybe the ones with the lowest SEO difficulty, so you can break in quickly. And then over time, you might notice that these other ones have started to go up. More people are writing content about them. So, you might steer clear from those and go back to that original list and go through it again and see if there's more opportunities in there that have a low SEO difficulty score that you can go after. So just tracking those keywords is quite an important step. But I guess the next thing is, what do we write about and how do we write it? So the first thing we usually do is we try and look at what are the top ranking blog articles surrounding that keyword. So let's just pick laser cutting machine for sheet metal as the keyword we want to look at. So I would go and type that in for Google, and then I would go through and have a look at the listings. So what you want to do is not look at listings that are products page or category page related. You want to look at listings that have the title blog in them. So that will give you an indication that there's an article or some content has been written around that particular keyword phrase. And, we can get a good idea as to, what the article consists of and where we need to be as a benchmark to be able to compete in that space for that keyword. So if I keep going down the list here, fiber, shop online, it doesn't even look like there's any blog articles. Laser cutting, laser, small desktop, sheet metal. Okay, so as you can see, they're all product page or category page related. Product category, buying guide. Okay, so this is probably the first bit of content that we're seeing amongst that list for the keyword term laser cutting machine sheet metal. So this is the top rated bit of content that Google sees as the most helpful surrounding that keyword term. So what you would do is you go in, you would analyze, what are they writing about? What are the questions that they're answering? How useful is the article? How long is the article? How much time and effort has been put into writing this article? Do they make reference to other areas of their business? Do they use imagery? Do they use video? And just jot down a little list as a checklist so that you know where the benchmark is on what you need to produce to have your article compete directly against this one in the search engines. So that'd be my first bet. And then you could go in with that list and you could go and write your own guide. Or if you want to automate the process a little bit, you can use a tool like ChatGPT to help you write these articles, come up with topics, and completely automate the process from start to finish. So what you would do is go into ChatGPT and ask it, can you please produce 5 high ranking researched article topics that I can write about directly relating to the keyword laser cutting machine sheet metal. And there you go. You've got 5 topics that you can write about. Obviously, you would try and prioritize which one do you think would be the most helpful, most useful for a potential customer who's looking for a laser cutting machine that cuts sheet metal. I think the how to choose would be the best. Obviously, someone who's looking for a machine needs to understand the differences between machine types, what's on offer, how to choose the right one for their application, their business. So I would say go with the top one, and you would get it to write you a blog outline. So can you write me a blog outline for this article topic you suggested? Please ensure the outline covers comprehensive breakdown on the topic, providing the reader with all information they need to choose the best right laser cutting machine for sheet metal fabrication. List the outline in bullets with H1 and H2s, and that's just for SEO purposes. So what it'll do is do an outline for us. So as you can see, it's written in bullet form. And as you can see, if we go through it now, how to choose the best laser cutting machine for sheet metal fabrication, how to choose the best laser cutting machine for sheet metal fabro, intro, understanding what it is, how laser cutting technology works, common applications. So everything is related to this keyword phrase, type of machine, the capabilities of power, cutting speed, thickness. So it goes into a very comprehensive blog outline. And then I would say, can you please produce an article which follows this outline, is 2,000 words in length, is written in a to understand yet detailed format so that Google can rank. And then it will go in and write the article for you based on that outline, all relative to the keyword phrase that has a very low SEO difficulty. And if you pop this up on your website with all the H1s and the H2s and the SEO data optimized correctly, then you'll be able to rank on Google quite quickly for that term. Now, if you wrote 3 or 4 articles just in the way that I've shown you, then you're going to occupy some top spots pretty quickly. And over time, it's going to be hard for your competition to knock you off because you're going to be one of the first in there. And the more helpful the articles that you create or the content you create surrounding that keyword, the better it's going to be for your business in terms of occupying top spots, but keeping those spots. So therefore, you'll be able to generate a lot of that traffic on a regular basis. It's only once competition go in there and start writing better articles, more comprehensive articles, or more, that you'll be knocked off those spots. But for the time being, you will be able to generate traffic that's worth $10 a click completely free for your business. So the next step would be going in there and scheduling these blog articles to go out on your website. Obviously, writing more content surrounding that keyword phrase. Producing videos is also a great way, but obviously a bit more time consuming. But if you have the means to do so, I'd be looking at creating videos on YouTube, but also implementing those onto your website or your blogs as well that can assist the content. And all you really need to be thinking about is how can I make these articles as detailed and comprehensive for a reader that's looking for a laser cutting machine that cuts sheet metal in what they're looking for. How can I assist them better? And if you have that frame of mind when you're producing that content, then Google's going to rank you a lot better than your competition. So as you can see, the major problem that we solved was, high competition, high click costs on Google PPC. How do we get around that? We spot keyword opportunities that have a low SEO difficulty, but high search volume, high buyer intent. And then we create the content that Google loves to see surrounding those keywords that you can place on your website, and you can start ranking effectively for them so that you can generate that traffic that's costing you a lot on Google PPC completely free. So if you like what you saw, I hope you can implement it with the step-by-step guide that I just showed you. If you want us to do this for your business, we can go in there and audit your account. We can see the terms that you're bidding for on Google PPC, and then we can reverse engineer the process and see if we can spot some keyword opportunities for SEO that have a low difficulty and low competition that we can create articles for, or you can just take that plan away with you and start producing the content yourself. So if you want us to do that, please comment below. Happy to send that audit across to you, get into contact with your team and organize that for you. But I hope this was helpful. And I hope you start to generate traffic to your website in the way I've just showed you completely free.